So let's dive into Robert Frost's A Roadside Stand. And this isn't just some quaint poem about a shack selling berries. No, it's this incredibly raw look at a collision, really, between two different Americas. You've got the struggling, hopeful countryside on one side and the indifferent, speeding city on the other. We're going to really dig into that deep divide that Frost captures so brilliantly.
Right at the heart of this whole thing is this really haunting phrase, the trusting sorrow of what is unsaid. I mean, wow. Frost is getting at some kind of deep, unspoken sadness here. But what is it? What is this sorrow, and why is it unsaid? Why can't they just speak it? That's the big mystery we're going to try to unravel together.
Okay, so let's jump right in where the poem starts. Frost gives us this image, right? A little old house with a little new shed. And this stand is kind of pathetically jutting out towards the road. You have to understand, this isn't just a building. It's a desperate plea. It's an attempt to just interrupt the blur of traffic, to get noticed by a world that is literally speeding right past them.
And this is a really crucial point. They are not begging. This isn't some plea for a dole of bread, as Frost puts it. No way. They've built something with their own hands. They're offering their goods. All they want is the dignity of a transaction. Just a simple chance to earn a living.
So why do they want the money? I mean, what's the goal here? It's not about getting rich. It's about feeling, just for a second, a little bit of that city cash that Frost says supports the flower of cities. And that's such a powerful metaphor, isn't it? It stands for all the prosperity, all the luxury they see just flashing by in those cars. They're just hoping for a few drops, just a little splash of that prosperity, to keep their own lives from, as he says, sinking and withering.
But here's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. This is where the poem's central conflict really just ignites. Because the city, it doesn't stop. And Frost's term for the wealthy drivers is just brilliant, polished traffic. It sounds sleek, right? But it's also so impersonal, almost inhuman. They're completely locked in on their destination. Their minds are always fixed ahead.
And the disconnect, man, it is stark. Look at this. On one side, you have the stand's simple, honest stuff. Wild berries, golden squash, even little paintings of the very mountains the drivers are supposedly there to enjoy. And on the other side, the city's reaction is just irritation. If they even notice the stand at all, they get out of sorts. They're annoyed that this humble little shack is marring their perfect, pristine view of the landscape. And the complaints they have, oh, it's so revealing in how petty it all is. They criticize the artless paint. Can you believe it? They're actually annoyed that the hand-drawn north and south signs are backwards. They even look down on the squash because it has silver warts. I mean, they're finding fault in every tiny detail, and they're completely, totally blind to the human being, the real effort behind it all. Okay, so the indifference from the passing cars is bad enough, right? But that's not the only threat here. Frost introduces something else, something maybe even more sinister. He calls them the good doers. The politicians, the developers, the ones who show up with big smiles and promises of progress and a helping hand. So there's this rumor going around. The plan is to buy out these families and, get this, mercifully gathered in. They're going to be relocated to these new villages, right next to the movie theater and the store. It all sounds so nice and charitable, doesn't it? Almost too good to be true. Yeah, well, Frost sees right through it. He sees the truth behind all those pretty promises. And he comes up with this absolutely chilling term for these so-called helpers: beneficent beasts of prey. Think about that. They look like they're doing good, beneficent, but they're really predators in disguise, just swarming over the lives of the poor to exploit them for their own gain. And Frost's own words here are just damning. He says these so-called benefits are calculated to soothe them out of their wits. What does that mean? The goal isn't to actually help them or empower them, is to pacify them, to make them dependent, and in the end to rob them of their self-sufficiency, to take away their entire way of life. So think about where they are now. They're caught. They're stuck between the cold shoulder of the city folks and this predatory help from the developers. With no real hope anywhere in sight, what's left? All that's left is this raw, personal emotion, this profound sadness just hanging in the air by their open window. And this is where the poet, the narrator, his own voice just breaks through. He admits it. He can hardly bear to watch their childish longing in vain. And why childish? Because their hope is just so simple, so pure. And why in vain? Because it's just so painfully, so endlessly ignored. So what is it? What is this simple hope they're almost praying for all day long? What are they waiting for as they just stare out that open window?
It's something so small it'll break your heart. They're just listening for the squeal of brakes, for the sound of a single stopping car. Out of the thousands of what he calls selfish cars that just fly by, they're praying for just one person to stop, to just ask what a farmer's prices are. That's it. That's the dream. It's just heartbreaking.
And here's the real gut punch. A few cars do stop, but each time, it's just another wave of disappointment. One car stops, but only to tear up their grass while turning around. Another one pulls over, but just to ask for directions. And then a third, totally oblivious, asks if they sell a gallon of gas. Every single stop is just another reminder of how completely invisible they and their stand truly are.
All of this constant disappointment, this unbearable weight of hope that never gets fulfilled, it pushes the narrator, the poet himself, to a really dark and shocking place. The end of the poem shows us just how deeply their suffering has gotten under his skin, how it's infected his own soul. He basically voices what he sees as the complaint of the countryside, just this profound sense of hopelessness. He says these people have never found the requisite lift of spirit. And what that really means is they've never had that basic level of economic hope that you need to just thrive, to feel human. Their poverty isn't just about money, it's a soul-crushing weight. And then it happens. In a moment of just overwhelming empathy and total despair, the narrator thinks about the unthinkable. He imagines what a great relief it would be to put these people at one stroke out of their pain. It's a shocking, brutal thought, right? But it's born from this feeling that there is no other way out, no other escape from their suffering.
But then, just as quickly, he snaps out of it. He catches himself. And he turns that horrific wish right back on himself. He says, I wonder how I should like you to come to me and offer to put me gently out of my pain. And in that final stunning reversal, he reveals the poem's ultimate truth. Their pain has become his pain. So the poem doesn't end with some neat solution. It ends with a haunting question, really, for all of us. What do we do with this pain? The pain of living in a world that is so carelessly and so deeply divided.